Welcome to Pixarize's scene on Vitamin E, part of our series on the vitamins. This scene takes place in a restaurant that specializes in experimental cuisine. And I don't mean molecular gastronomy or any of those fancy new wave cooking techniques. Experimental in the sense that they just slap really weird stuff onto tacos. This place is pretty sketchy, and I'm not sure they're totally up to code. So let's get in and out of here before we succumb to our hunger and order something we might later regret. We'll start off with the big plate of tacos in the foreground. You'll notice immediately that these things are filled with eel. And not like sliced eel pieces, they just slapped entire eels onto these tacos, eyes, fins, and all. Kinda disgusting, honestly, but this place is still in business, so maybe you can't knock it till you try it. This scene is all about tacos because vitamin E actually comprises a couple different chemical groups, including the tocopherols and the tocotrienols, both of which sound like tacos to me. The chemical distinctions here aren't important, just remember that these compounds are part of the vitamin E group. The tocotacos are filled with eel to help us remember vitamin E, or vitamin eel. I think to really hammer this in and never forget tocopherol and tocotrienol, you should go out and prepare one of these eel tacos for yourself. Right now. Trust me, that extra point on step will definitely be worth it, maybe. Now that we've covered our putrid main course, let's discuss the primary function of vitamin eel. Take a closer look at the corner of the taco tray. See how shiny it is? No rust at all. Maybe the eel rubbed off the rust. That's to help us remember that vitamin E functions as an important antioxidant, especially in red blood cells, where it's crucial for the protection of cell membranes from free radical damage. Next, check out the bottle of hot sauce next to our tacos. See how the label has a grenade and some missiles, and the top is exploding in a mushroom cloud shape? In addition to making us scared to consume any of this stuff, all these symbols of warfare should help remind us of warfarin. This is some really spicy stuff, waging war on your mouth. Warfarin has a peculiar drug interaction with vitamin E, since vitamin E can alter the metabolism of vitamin K. If you've learned about anticoagulation drugs, you'd know that warfarin exerts its effects by inhibiting the enzyme vitamin K epoxide reductase, keeping the body from replenishing the form of vitamin K necessary for the activation of clotting factors. Since vitamin E also messes with vitamin K, combining it with warfarin can enhance these anticoagulative effects and increase the risk of bleeding. Now that we've discussed vitamin E's functions, let's talk about what happens in the setting of vitamin E deficiency. Check out the woman in the background who's just ordered seconds. Looks like all of those eel tacos are starting to hit her like a train. She does not look well. She's dropping her tacos on the floor to help us remember that this area of the image covers vitamin E deficiency, and her weak, shaky body will help us remember that vitamin E deficiency can present with muscular weakness. If we look to our poor woman's left, we'll see a couple of symbols to help us understand the neuromuscular symptoms of vitamin E deficiency. First, see those massive columns in the back of our scene? I don't know what I really expected the decor to be like in a place that sells eel tacos, but Greco-Roman architectural elements weren't the first thing that came to mind. And see that bell in the other window? I assume it's there to be furiously rung by hangry customers jonesing for eel tacos and impatiently waiting to have their orders filled. Check out what the bell is hanging from. It looks like a human spine, which is terrifying. The large columns and spine bell are there to help us remember that vitamin E deficiency causes demyelination in the dorsal column and the spinocerebellar tract. Neurologic dysfunction from demyelination contributes to the muscular weakness we saw in our klutzy taco-dropping woman. The nervous defects in vitamin E deficiency are thought to be related to a loss of nerve membrane integrity, Remember our membrane antioxidant rustless tray, but the mechanism is still poorly understood. It's important to mention that the neurologic findings in vitamin E deficiency can mirror those in vitamin B12 deficiency, and should be differentiated from vitamin B12 deficiency before starting any sort of supplementation. There are a lot of distinguishing characteristics of vitamin B12 deficiency, like megaloblastic anemia and hypersegmented neutrophils on peripheral blood smear, but we'll cover those in the scenes for vitamin B12. Finally, turn your attention back to the right side of the image. See that cactus and popping red balloon? Our weak taco-dropping customer seems to have bumped these balloons right into our cactus. This fun cactus that's popping all the balloons tied next to it proves that the interior decorators hired to spruce up this restaurant have absolutely no idea what the heck they're doing. But more importantly, these out-of-place decorations are there to represent the effects of vitamin E deficiency on red blood cells. Again, vitamin E is important for red blood cell membrane integrity. And when you're not getting enough of it, RBCs can take on a spiny cactus-like appearance, a phenomenon known as acanthocytosis. Our spiny, spur-like cactus will help us remember this. The loss of membrane integrity can also lead to RBC hemolysis and present with signs of a hemolytic anemia. These include jaundice, bilirubin gallstones, and reticulocytosis. Our popped red balloons should help us remember hemolytic anemia and to never put a bunch of balloons next to a freaking cactus. And that's all we've got for vitamin eel and the tocopherols and tocotrienols. Hopefully you haven't been turned off to eel forever, because it's actually really good when it's not served whole and smothered in military-grade hot sauce. And seriously, if you make an eel taco right now, I promise you'll never forget this scene. You might not even have to take the boards at all, since it could land you in the hospital instead. Could really be worth it though. Alright, until next time.